Sup, you chuckle fucks? It's your boy Dark Raku here with What If Issei Had Spiral Energy Part 3. Now, before I go on, yes, I'm gonna change the freaking title name from the other two What Ifs. Other Part 2, Part 1 What If. But yeah, to mostly just had spiral energy, not had the spiral. I don't know what the fuck I was on that shit, but whatever. But yes, I finally made a thumbnail. It took me a while because mostly I was thinking of when Issei kind of awakens the spiral, or mostly when he fully awakens the spiral power. I was kind of thinking, what should I do for his eyes? Because I do know when you fully awaken the spiral energy in Gurren Lagann, your eyes will literally become a spiral. Literally just like a spiral kind of like, mostly because since it's, you get the point, right? Because since it's spiral energy, you get a spiral eye, like a whirlpool somewhat. Like a whirlpool kind of Uzumaki looking eye. But not the point. So of course I decided to go make that. It took me a while, not that long. But yeah, also I needed to also do something else for like another eye color, but not the point. And yeah, I was just thinking how to do this kind of mostly thumbnail. I don't know, I just wanted to make some kind of decent looking thumbnail. Not the point. Okay. I'm rambling on right now. Also, before I go on, I am kind of making what's it called? I am making the fanfic. What's it called? Mostly, if you actually haven't noticed this, but if I did mention this a couple of times, but I did kind of mention this sometimes. Mostly, this is mostly my fanfic that I'm kind of doing on mostly Webpad. And if you guys want to read it, it's called Issei Betrayed by the Factions. But yeah, pretty much, I have mostly like 4 parts in it, kinda like the bio and what's it called, the beginning. The start of the beginning, then you have this and that. I did kind of like upload it yesterday. Mostly another part being, yeah, it just says yesterday I published. But yeah, it's called Heaven's Demise Part 3 and chapter kind of 1 out of 2. But yeah, not the point. If you guys want to go read it, you can go read it. I'm still continuing this on. Mostly some people ask me if I'm going to continue this on or not, which I am. I am going to add OC characters of mostly Arankars, Quincy's, and other shit, but not the point. But if you guys want to go read it, go read it. It's kind of, I hope it's easy for you guys to find. If it's not, then I will put a link in the description so you guys can actually go find it yourself. Just click the link and yeah. But if you guys want to go read it, go read it. I also have 2 other stories that I have on the, what's it called, Webpad, that I actually have not continued at all. I just kind of published them there, and I might continue them on later on, maybe. One is actually connected to the Tower of the God, and the other one is basically just some kind of dragon god prince. Yeah, that thing is going to be overpowered as fuck when I think about it, because yeah, but I still haven't continued it on. But that's not the point here or there. Let me do this what if, let me shut the fuck up. And yeah, no recaps, no nothing. So yeah, let's begin. So we begin into mostly Issei waking up from the hospital, or mostly he's just woken up from the bed. This is where, well, he's in the hospital. This is where, well, he's like, getting headache. Fuck. What the hell happened? This is where, well, Issei kind of just like looks around, but yeah. This is where, well, he looks around and sees that he's in the hospital. This is where, when he looks down, he sees that he is wearing mostly the hospital clothing somewhat. He looks at his hands and sees that they're bandaged up, really bandaged up. Because mostly of what happened last time, he was fighting against Toronto, and this is where he was beating the shit out of Toronto in an instant. He did not care if he murdered Toronto in an instant. But this is where, well, he was kind of wondering what happened to Toronto and him. This is where, well, all he can remember now is, now that he actually thinks about it more and what happened last time of him fighting against Toronto, he can remember all the memories about what was happening. It was all blurry as hell, but he remembers just beating the shit out of Toronto in an instant, without a care in the world. Keeps punching him, beating his ass, without a care in the world, until the very end when he managed to knock down Toronto to the ground. He just started kind of wailing on Toronto over and over by his right hand. He kind of does kind of move his right hand like his fingers, and it does kind of sting. This is where he's saying, oh, okay, that's such a pain. This is where, well, he's just saying, damn, that hurts. Damn it. What? How did I get to the hospital now that I think about it? All I remember is just hugging that kid and then passing out. What was that kid's name? I think I never did get his name. This is where, well, he sighs and says, but still, This is where, well, Issei tries to get up, which mostly he tries to get out of the bed. But when he tries to get out of the bed, he felt kind of weak and almost fell down. This is where, well, Issei starts kind of breathing out. Kind of heavily, but not much. Issei says, okay, fuck, what happened? Damn it. This is where Issei noticed one thing. It's kind of like somewhere like mostly 4 p.m. or not even 4, mostly like, it's not 4 p.m. It's mostly like 11, what's it called, p.m. This is where, well, he says, huh? 11 p.m.? Okay, the battle took around mostly, I left school around mostly around like 2 o'clock. Got to the store around also like 2:50. Fought against those people. Probably it took me an hour to beat the shit out of them. And then even Toronto probably keep trying to kill him. So how long did I sleep for? Issei is trying to calculate and think about this, but this is where Issei tries to like get up. Well, mostly he felt like his body won't like listen to him too much, until Issei just had to kind of mostly tries to just push himself even further by actually restraining his body a little bit more. Even though it hurts like hell, he just doesn't care. He has things to do mostly tomorrow. Mostly, yeah, tomorrow. So of course he can't just like be here in the hospital because he needs to go. Issei tries to get up, mostly kind of grabbing onto the ledge of mostly the, what's it called, table, and gets up and say, damn, I haven't had a fight like that in such a long time. Been 2 years. But still, do I still have dark impulse? That can't be impossible. I've been so much more calmer and nicer than the last time. No, that can't be. Well, it hasn't really been 2 years. It's actually been like 3 years. And this is where, well, Issei says, but that's not the point. This is where Issei gets up, and this is where he tries to kind of like get to, well, a chair that actually has his clothing, mostly like his, like mostly shirt, because the only thing he's wearing is like the hospital kind of like shirt thing, whatever. But of course, he's going to get his shirt and his coat. And this is where, well, before he kind of just like changes out of the kind of like shirt kind of coat thing, the door opens, and this is where, well, Issei is still kind of like in the middle of changing. Of course, this is where, well, it shows like his abs as hell. Mostly like he has like 6, like, what's it called, 6, mostly, he has a 6-pack, and this is where, well, mostly Issei is confused and who the hell opened the door, and it was a nurse. This is where the nurse right now like has almost a blood nose falling down to the ground. This is where, well, Issei with the bandaged arms, mostly he kind of looks like Rock Lee, kind of having bandages on his like hands. Mostly he kind of looks like what's it called, Rock Lee, but with like Ichigo's injuries, kind of having what's it called, like bandages, somewhat like that. And this is where, well, mostly Issei kind of also has some bandages around his chest and other things. And this is where, well, mostly Issei looks at the nurse, and this is where the nurse almost has a blood nose. Now, of course, the only reason why you could never see his 6-packs or mostly his muscular somewhere from his arms is because he wears kind of baggy clothes, and of course, like long kind of like baggy clothes, so people won't actually question. But yeah, and his muscles isn't like built like bulky, he's built kind of lean. So yeah, Issei looks at the nurse, and the nurse is right now kind of like looking away. And of course, Issei puts on the shirt real quick because he just thinking, this is awkward as hell. This is where Issei kind of puts on the shirt and even the coat, and decides to walk mostly towards the door. Of course, he doesn't see the nurse, but this is where, well, when he kind of pokes his head out, he noticed the nurse kind of like trying to get her phone out. And of course, this is where, well, she's nervously kind of shaking. This is where she's trying to get to the like a camera. And Issei notices, but of course he didn't question too much. This is where Issei said, ma'am, whatever. This is where Issei kind of walks out, like literally just kind of walks out of the door and just started walking away. This is where when the nurse kind of heard her, mostly heard ma'am, she didn't really turn up just yet. This is where, well, she needed to get the camera just in case. And of course, I wanted to take a picture of mostly this kind of like young looking man, but of course, because she had a blood nose and she was kind of perverted. But this is where, well, when she went back inside to look inside, she realized that he's gone, and she looks down the hallway and noticed that Issei's just walking away. Of course, Issei's body hurts like hell, but he's not going to just let this like a little bit of pain kind of stop him. He doesn't even know why he's in the fucking hospital, but he doesn't care. This is where, well, Issei's just walking away without a care in the world. He noticed the elevator, which he was going through the elevator, but this is where, well, he also noticed the stairs and just decided to click on one of the buttons of the elevator. If it takes a while, he's just going to walk down the stairs. He doesn't care. This is where, well, The elevator door opens, and this is where, well, when it opens, someone basically with pinkish short hair, of course, having kind of brownish eyes, and of course she's wearing kind of casual clothes. Basically, she looks like this. Basically, she had like this kind of like t-shirt that's kind of like pink, and of course, yeah, it kind of looks like that, just stripes or whatever. Of course, having a red kind of like skirt, and this is where, well, black kind of long socks, heels, whatever the hell it's called, and of course, mostly not leggings, but yeah, mostly also brown shoes, but not the point. Of course, this worked well when she kind of like has also a basket, mostly a basket of fruit. Of course, right next to her, she's holding a hand of mostly a kid with kind of like purplish hair and similar brownish eyes to her. And this worked well. He only has kind of purplish hair because his hair kind of mutated a little bit, but this worked well. He only came along just to kind of see the person that kind of saved him from mostly two threats, mostly, and actually wanted to kind of thank him. This is where, well, Issei was right now kind of like pushing his hair back because it was actually annoying getting on his bangs. Of course, the nurse was screaming out for Issei to kind of stop, but Issei didn't really pay attention too much. He was actually hearing already music in his earbuds and didn't really care too much. Also noticed his phone was cracked, which she's actually going to have to go get another phone, but fuck it. This is where, well, Issei's right now pushing the bangs out of his fucking hair because it's actually annoying most of the time. And this is where, well, mostly the song he's hearing right now is actually called, well, so the song he's hearing is called Breaking Down by I Prevail, but yeah. I think I'm thinking too much. I'm a little paranoid. I think I'm breaking. Yeah, it's pretty much he's just singing, mostly singing the song while hearing it at the same time. This is where, well, Issei was just waiting for the elevator, but yeah, until mostly the elevator's open already right in front of him, and this is where, well, his brown and golden eyes meets up with mostly Catherine and her brownish eyes, and also her little brother, but yeah, this is where, well, Issei kind of said, sup? This is where, well, Issei kind of just keeps trying to push his bangs out of his face because it gets annoying, and this is where, well, mostly Catherine kind of face becomes a little red, while mostly, the little brother of hers kind of like gets out of the elevator and says, hello there. This is where he hugs, what's it called, mostly Issei, and says, hello there, big brother. This is where mostly Oni-san, this is where, well, Issei's like, hey there, kid. I never did ask for your name, so what's your name? This is where, well, mostly Issei kind of ignores kind of Catherine just standing there dumbfounded, and this is where, well, mostly the kid kind of hugs Issei, even though Issei kind of hurts his body a little bit, but he doesn't really care about the pain too much. This is where the kid says, my name is, well, this is where, well, he says, my name is Shin. This is where, well, mostly you say, Shin? Huh, that's an interesting name you have there. Mostly it doesn't, it just means purple. I mean, your hair is kind of purple, so it makes sense. This is where, well, Shin kind of nodded and says, what's your name? This is where Issei says, oh, the name's Issei Hyodo. You can call me just Ice or Issei. It doesn't really matter. I'm not too formal with names. So you just call me Ice or whatever. This is where, well, mostly Shin nodded and says, thank you, big brother Ice. This is where Issei says, stop calling me big brother. I don't know why. This is where Issei just ignores that entirely and says, oh, well, you're welcome, Shin. I kind of, well, yeah, Issei says, I kind of need to go home, so can you stop kind of hugging my kind of waist too much? Also, can you tell your sister to move out of the way, because I need to go, home, mostly. This is where, well, mostly, Shin does manage to grab his sister out of the way of the elevator, while letting Issei into the elevator. The elevator started closing, this is where, well, the nurse was telling Issei to come back until she just couldn't really say anything no more. Basically, she just gave up. She just, like, couldn't really get Issei to kind of care too much, and this is where, well, Issei was kind of like talking to Shin, and this is where Shin was talking to Issei. This is where mostly Catherine's face was almost all red, was because mostly Issei pushing his hair kind of make him look kind of actually kind of cool. At the same time, he was kind of just like not bothering to actually care about his injuries. This is where, well, the injury part, and of course, mostly he just keep pushing his hair up, makes him look like a complete badass. This is where, well, Catherine was just there, kind of frozen, but yeah. Well, Shin and Issei were just talking, but yeah. This is where, well, we go into mostly the, them kind of going down the floors until mostly Issei said, is your sister okay, Shin? This is where Shin kind of said, sis? She came here to kind of give you food, mostly this fruit, but yeah, from the store, since you kind of did help us out with mostly those, bad people. This is where, well, Shin said, Issei says, oh right, I forgot to beat the shit of them. This is where, well, Issei completely forgot about the the first gangsters that he fought, and then mostly Tyranno and his kind of group. So of course it worked well. He completely forgot about the other weaklings, and then remember fighting against Tyranno. That's all he remembers. The other people were just completely pathetic and idiotic for him. But yeah, that's where Issei says, don't I need to pay something because I remember throwing a watermelon upon someone's head, like Mad Max, but not the point. This is where, well, we'll see. The kid says, no, it's fine. My parents said that it was actually okay, even if that watermelon was a waste. They said it was fine, and also wish to thank you with the fact that they we'll see, you help us from mostly those people. They also wanted to pay for your hospital bills. This is where, well, Issei says, no, that's fine. I'll just do that myself. This is where, well, mostly Issei said, it's not really necessary for, what's it called? Mostly them to kind of pay my hospital bills. I can do that myself later. Not the point. This is where Issei says, or I can make someone else pay it. I'm definitely gonna make Tyranno pays for that shit. Oh, that freaking hurts my freaking hand. Even if I have to beat the shit of him and put him in the coma, I'll make him pay. This is where he just kind of thinks in his head. And of course, it was such a dark thought, but this is where, well, he didn't care too much. He shook his head off, and then Shin was saying, but Mom and Dad wanted to pay for it. They even said that they will kind of wait outside of the hospital until you wake up and they meet up with you. Or mostly you kind of went to the, mostly not hospital, to the shop again. Issei says, nah, sorry kid. I'm not going to the shop mostly tomorrow, since tomorrow I'm going to go towards Tokyo Shiba City, to meet up with someone, or mostly, yeah, meet up with someone. This is where, well, mostly Shin kind of sad and says, so you're not going to go to the store tomorrow? This is where I used to say, sorry about that, kid. Maybe next time. Maybe Friday? I can't really decide because I might have to stay in Shiba City for about 3 days, maybe. This is where, well, Issei thinks, maybe if I don't actually get to meet anyone from my past life, or any of the other gangsters, or biker gangs, whatever. This is where, well, Issei then says, yeah, sorry about that, kid. This is where, well, mostly that actually snaps Catherine out of her kind of like thought. And then here's mostly that Issei is actually going to Shiba City, Tokyo Shiba City. And this is where, well, she's confused at why Issei is going there in the first place. Until mostly she heard that Issei is just going there to kind of visit someone. Which she is confused, and who exactly is he going to go visit? Does he have relatives over there? Does he have someone that he actually needs to meet up or something? But yeah. This is where, well, Shin kind of asks, and who exactly Issei is going to go meet up over there. This is where Issei kind of just says, oh, it's mostly my big brother. This is where, well, mostly Catherine snaps out of her thoughts after hearing that. Wait, what? This is where, well, mostly Issei said, well, not exactly my big brother, but I see him as an older brother. Even if he's... never mind. But I'm just gonna tell you it's my big brother. I'm just there to visit him because I haven't seen him in a while. I only come in certain days to go visit him, but not much. This is where, well, mostly Shin nodded, saying, oh, okay. Can I ever meet your big brother? Issei says, I don't think so. Maybe when you're older. I don't want to take you to Shiba City because it's kind of dangerous over there, but not that dangerous for either me or anyone who kind of lived there for a while, but not much. This is where, well, mostly Shin kind of added, but this is where Issei kind of just smiles and says, don't worry, kid. Maybe I'll take you one day there, but not right now. You're still too young. And besides, your parents would be too worried about, well, mostly worried about the fact that I'm taking you to mostly Shiba City. Also, your sister would probably try to kill me. This is where, well, Shin says, but my sister would never try to kill you. This is where, well, Catherine kind of realized that Issei is kind of telling the truth about, yeah, she might try to kill him if Issei takes his, or not his, mostly her little brother towards a city. She actually has heard of a Shiba City. That's actually quite a dangerous town. Mostly out of the whole Japan kind of place, Shiba City is quite dangerous, but not as top dangerous, but mostly top 10 dangerous because of mostly all the biker gangs. And after hearing about a brother and how it's kind of dangerous there, she's actually kind of seeing how Issei is going there on his own free will. Mostly even though he knows it's dangerous. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, besides, it's nothing to me. Besides, I might take you one day, maybe when you're older, or maybe not. This is where, well, Issei says, but this is where Shin says, can you please promise? Issei said, this is where Issei says, I'll take you under one condition. This is where Issei said. This is where, well, Shin says, really? What? This is where Issei says, your sister is going to have to, This is where Issei says, this is going to be stupid, but I know it's not going to ever be fulfilled. Issei says, she has to hug me. This is where, well, mostly Catherine's face becomes red, while mostly Shin kind of says, huh? Hey sis, can you hug him? This is where, well, mostly Catherine's face is all red entirely, until Issei kind of just knows that she would never actually hug him, so of course, that kind of fulfillment is never going to happen, unless it's a hug an accident, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, besides, you don't need to question, don't tell your sister about this, besides. Or, well, she already heard it, but don't bother your sister about hugging me. She'll do it on her own free will. That is kind of never, Issei said quietly, which Shin didn't really hear. Yeah, he didn't actually hear, but mostly Catherine did manage to hear. And this is where, well, her face was pink, but this is where, well, she noticed how Issei did kind of like promise something for Shin, but it was kind of an impossible kind of mission because she knows that she would kind of never hug Issei, not entirely. Maybe not right now, or maybe, yeah, not right now, or maybe later. She probably just doesn't want to do that. This is where, well, she still thinks that Issei is a pervert, but then again, after seeing that battle between Issei and Tyrone, she doesn't understand if he's completely a pervert or he's completely a monster in battle, because he took out so many people out of care of the world. It was by himself, and he didn't even use any weapons, just his bare fist, and even his bare fist cracked the ground when he was pissed enough. This is where, well, she was confused, scared, but of course a little bit turned on from the fact that he beat the shit out of a bunch of biker gangs. And someone that she actually considered never to be seen. Or mostly, she only seen him mostly in Shiba City and the news sometimes, but mostly it was none other than South Toronto. And South Toronto was getting his fucking shit break in. Well, mostly just busted in by Issei. This is where, well, Issei was about to kill him fully. But this is where he stopped trying to kill him because he passed out after seeing mostly shit. This is where, well, she doesn't know what to do. This is where, well, Issei says, well, I gotta be going then. I gotta kind of get going to my house. This is where, well, mostly they got off the elevator after a while, and this is where, well, mostly Issei says, well, bye Shin, bye Catherine. This is where, well, mostly Issei said. This is where, well, mostly Shin says, bye big brother Issei. This is where, well, mostly Ice. This is where, well, mostly Catherine kind of snaps out fully from her thoughts, and she said Issei is fully walking away. This is where Issei kind of gets to his house. Of course, is where, well, his mom questioned and where he was at. Mostly since she's still awake, mostly her husband already went to sleep, but mostly notice how Issei managed to get to the house somewhere around 11:45, because, well, yeah, or not 11:45, mostly like 12 already. Issei said, oh, I fell down some stairs and well, how had to bring me to the hospital. This is where, oh, mostly, what's it called? Mika kind of looks at Issei's hands, and this is where, well, she says, really, just your hands kind of got hurt? Yes, it kind of like, I pop out some bones, and don't worry, well, Hama told me that he will pay for it. This is where, well, mostly Mika says, okay, fine. This is where, well, she then sighs and says, fine, just go upstairs and go to sleep. Issei says, yeah, don't worry. This is where Issei walks upstairs, and this is where, well, mostly Mika sighs and says, damn it. Go to why the hell did you have to go to sleep at this time? This is where Issei goes up to his room, falls asleep, like straight up, still having earbuds in his head, or mostly in his, like, mostly near his ears, and of course, just falls straight up asleep. He didn't care, fall down to the bed and fell down asleep. This is where, well, Issei started kind of dreaming about something, but not the point. Mostly the song that he's hearing right now is called, well, so the song he's hearing now is called Hurricane by I Propel, but yeah. This is where, well, he just kind of like singing the song somewhat. Well, mostly kind of hearing it, but not the point, but yeah. But this is where, well, mostly Issei kind of, well, gets towards, well, mostly just falls asleep. Wakes up this morning kind of around 5, but not the point. Mostly around kind of like 5/6, but this is where, well, Issei just gets ready and some stuff, but yeah. This is where, well, he kind of like puts on black kind of like pants. Like, well, kind of like black kind of baggy pants that has like a bunch of pockets, but not the point. A black kind of like chain around his kind of pants. He does have like a belt around his kind of black, but not the point. And has kind of like a silver buckle, but not the point. This is where, well, he also kind of wearing like a black kind of shirt. And also like a black, well, not black shirt. It's mostly like a black kind of greenish shirt, but not the point. That kind of has a green dragon symbol on the back, but this is where, well, he also puts on a coat that kind of still fits him, but this is where, well, he kind of puts it on as kind of a black like, it's a black coat somewhat, but not the point. That has a hood on it, but this worked well. He just starts kind of putting on like a mask on his face. Get some glasses also, this worked well. Like black shades, and this worked well. He also kind of like mostly puts his hair to the back when he actually gets into the mostly bathroom. Well, mostly just waits until he gets to the bathroom. He kind of gets onto the bathroom, kind of like puts his hair to push back, but yeah, kind of puts it into a style that he actually used to have in kind of middle school, but not the point. But this is where, oh, Issei also gets some money, kind of puts it on his wallet, and kind of just has his ID and other shit. But this is where, well, he noticed that his phone is still broken, but it's still good enough for him just to hear music, but not the point. This is where, well, it's still not that fully broken, but he might get a phone new later, probably. This is where, well, Issei kind of gets downstairs, writes a paper, and puts it on the kind of like mostly table, and says that he's going towards mostly school quite early to talk to someone, but yeah. And of course, yeah, kind of school, and he might also talk to, what's it called, Waterhama, that he's going to stay overnight because he needs to also study and cram for an exam later on. This is where, well, mostly help for some other classes, but yeah. This is where, well, we'll see, he kind of puts it on the table, and this is where, well, he kind of puts a pencil also left behind, but yeah. And decides to just start walking away, opens the, like, back door, kind of closes it, and this is where, well, he does have his own keys, and this is where, well, he kind of just walks away. He gets towards mostly the, he gets towards what's it called, towards the train station, and he knows that this train station is actually going to Shiba City because he actually did check upon it. And mostly this is where, well, he gets to the train station, this is where, well, he's waiting until the train station actually appears, which it does appear, the train station, finally, not the train station, but mostly the train. But this is where he noticed someone else, a girl with kind of brownish hair, and of course mostly these hazelish eyes. Of course she had glasses, and this is where, well, she wasn't wearing the school uniform for mostly cool, but mostly very seductive kind of like outfit. Kind of, but mostly, it was kind of tight, but not that tight, but she did kind of show her kind of cleavage a little bit, which it was quite big than normal every time that Issei sees half the time, but he's not much of a pervert. But he knows that this girl is quite perverted. It's quite almost the same as what's it called, Matsuda's perversion. But yeah. So mostly she's wearing like this blue kind of like shorts that's quite mostly quite short. And of course mostly like this blue shirt and a black and a white kind of jacket, but yeah. It was none other than Aika Kiryu, but yeah. This is where, well, she was waiting for the train also, but she wasn't actually going to Shiba City. She was actually going to a different kind of like mostly place, but she was actually waiting for the other train because there's two trains that are actually taking multiple people in different places, but yeah. But there wasn't that many people at that time, mostly like a couple of people, but not much. Mostly a couple of people, like there was only like 4 people. Mostly like 2 people were like sleeping mostly on the bench waiting. They had their alarm clocks just in case mostly the train comes or the train just shows up pretty loud or whatever. Of course mostly Aika Kiryu was kind of like standing on the other side because there's 2 places of mostly the station to wait, but yeah, mostly the train station, but not the point. And this is where Issei was standing kind of near, just waiting for the train to appear. This is where the song he was hearing was mostly called he was hearing Numb from Linkin Park. I'm tired of being what? So of course mostly Issei started singing that song, just waiting for the damn train to hurry up. And of course Aika Kiryu managed to kind of pick up the lyrics of that song because she only heard it once in her life. She's actually having her phone out and she would put earbuds, but right now she's just waiting for the train to appear so she can actually hear mostly music while kind of getting towards the place. She's not trying to waste too much battery on her phone. Issei, on the other hand, doesn't really care, and he's just waiting for his while because he knows where to charge his phone, where he's actually going, so he can just kind of waste however much battery, but whatever. Issei is kind of just waiting, kind of saying. Mostly, he sings the song, kind of saying. So the song he was hearing Numb for a while until he just changed it towards the song, basically called Monsters, made by what's it called, Fight the Fate, but yeah. People say I've been changing, I don't act the same, my mind rearranging, I don't feel a thing, I'm not the kid that I used to be, I've grown into the man. Yeah, pretty much, this song kind of is mostly kind of something that Issei kind of sings because he actually knows how it feels mostly, but not the point. This is where, well, he's just singing it, and of course, where, well, he's just kind of waiting for the train. This is where, well, we'll see. Aika kind of heard it from, even though from where she's at, she heard it, and this is where, well, she only heard the voice maybe once, or not once, she has heard the voice multiple times, but of course she can't pinpoint who exactly it is, until she remembers who it was. Mostly the voice kind of connects towards mostly someone that she wasn't expecting for his singing to be quite good. Of course, it's none other than Issei Hyodo, but of course also known as one of the perverted beasts, but she doesn't know why he's actually here at the train station at 5 in the morning. Literally, it's not 5 in the morning, kind of like 6 in the morning. It's quite early for anyone to go to the train station unless there's actually a train kind of going from mostly where Issei's at. There's mostly the train that she's getting on is mostly for like 2 other people that are going, but that's just because mostly they are gonna, how should I say, she's actually a yokai, and of course, mostly the other 2 are also yokai, but they're falling asleep most of the time. And of course, she wasn't expecting a human to actually be able to go towards another town or wherever Issei is going, until she decides to check the schedule and what exactly the trains are supposed to go for. Mostly her train is called Train 1, and of course it's going towards mostly Kyo, while the other one is actually going is Train 2, and Issei is getting on there, and it's actually going to Tokyo Shiba City. This is where, well, mostly Aika knew about Shiba City, and it's quite dangerous. She doesn't even know why Issei is going there. She would kind of follow him, but she needs to get her kill. Actually, she has a great idea to follow him because, well, mostly she only heard so many rumors about the perverted trio kind of being disbanded. Mostly the fact that Murahama's acting like a normal, decent person, like actually studying other shit, and people don't really bother him because they don't want to change him back towards one of the perverted glasses. Matsuda is still acting the same. Issei is acting more nervous and shy a little bit around the girls who are actually interested in him. And Aika knows about the girls. Mostly one is an ice queen named Estef, one is called the Despair Queen named Junko Inoshima, and the last one is actually quite interesting because, well, she knows who exactly this is. She's actually a descendant of Bizelba. She's actually a half descendant, but yeah, because she's half human. But not the point. This is where, well, she's only kind of heard about those 3 kind of taking interest in on Issei, and maybe some of the Kendo girls, but this is where Aika is thinking to go or not towards Kyo, but this is where, well, the train actually arrived, mostly for Issei. Issei kind of decides to go into the train, mostly arrive on it by just walking into it, and this is where, well, there's really no one else on there until mostly, I guess this is going to be stupid, but screw it. This is where Aika decides to jump onto also the train of mostly Issei's, but yeah, and decides to just tell the other yokais to kind of hurry up and get on towards the Tokyo one, or not Tokyo one, the Kyo one when it comes, and this is where, well, they confuse and ask where she's going until she jumps onto the Tokyo one. This is where, well, Issei is sitting quite further away from Aika, but this is where Aika sits also further away from Issei. It gets towards mostly Tokyo, we go into Tokyo Shiba City, and of course, this is where, well, Issei is now in Tokyo Shiba City. This is where, well, he is kind of just like walking through the train, like walking out of the train, like train station, and kind of got there in 1 hour, but not the point, because mostly Kubo and Tokyo are kind of far, or not that far, but just like 1 hour, but not the point. Mostly Issei gets towards the, what's it called? Out of the mostly station, gets to, towards the train station, like where it's at. He then asks, how long would it kind of like, mostly the train station from mostly Tokyo Shiba City to go back to Kyoto? The train station person says that would take about like 2 days. Issei says that would be enough. Mostly it'll be today, Wednesday and Thursday, so Thursday kind of like somewhere in the afternoon to get back towards Kyoto, but yeah. Issei nodded and says thank you. This is where, well, Issei walks away, and he only has 3 days. 3 days and a half, but not the point. Issei starts kind of walking away from the train station until Aika decides to follow him. Of course, she is going to follow him, but this is where, well, Issei already got into trouble with mostly gangsters kind of bumping into him, mostly biker gangs, until when they kind of bump into him, they said, huh? You better apologize before. This is where Issei did not care and decided to kick the guy in the side of the head, knocking him out in an instant. The other 2 were dumbfounded and in shock and can only guess in whose kick. Mostly they have seen multiple side kicks before from either like 2 people, and those 2 people are quite dangerous in Shiba City, but they do not want to piss them off right now. Mostly one is Shiba City, the other one is probably in somewhere else in Tokyo. This is where, well, the 2 of them decide to run away because they think they either piss off Mikey or even Aizen. This is where Aizina. This is where, well, Issei switch up and says, I feel like they're kind of guessing me to either be, what's it called? Manjin, or even what's it called? Aizen, or Aizena. But not the point. Should probably be going towards where I need to be. This is where, well, Issei starts walking away. Of course, where Aika was so shocked and confused and how Issei just did that without a care in the world. He showed no mercy, no care, no absolute just asking if the guy was okay after kicking him. She was just shocked and dumbfounded, but yeah. So, this is where, well, mostly Issei keeps walking around mostly Shiba City. And of course, this is where, or, is it Shiba City? I don't remember. Fuck it. The one in mostly Tokyo Revenger, and where they kind of like fight and other shit from like Mikey and other shit. But not the point. Mostly that city, but not the point. This is where, well, Issei is getting towards mostly a specific place, but this is where, well, mostly Aika follow him and she sees nothing but a trail of bodies. Literally, every freaking person that literally pisses off Issei literally gets knocked out. And when she kind of goes up to the person just to check if they're okay, yeah, they're knocked out for a good hour. they're knocked out for either 2 hours, good hour, or mostly just, when I say good hour, it's like 1 hour. But when it's like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever. This is where, well, I guess kind of keep following the trail. Of course, where, well, she just sees nothing but bodies knocked the fuck out. Either from the fact that Issei sidekicked him, punched him right in the ribs, or just cracked, what's it called, his fist into their face. Which she heard a crack, but this is where, well, she expected it from Issei's hand, which it kind of is, since Issei still hurt from his fist. But not the point, since he is kind of wearing fingerless gloves, or not fingerless gloves, he's wearing gloves, so mostly people won't question the bandages. This is where, well, Issei just keeps walking and walking and walking, until he gets to a store and kind of walks into it. Aika wanted to go in, but she realized that the store is quite small, and if she walks in, then it kind of looks suspicious, kind of. Now, of course, she's been kind of hiding herself, her presence, and other things by using a bit of magic, but this is what, well, she also is, well, just waiting until mostly Issei gets out. She waits there for a good, like, 30 minutes until mostly Issei gets out of the kind of, like, store. This is where, well, he comes out with a kind of 2 brown bags, or mostly just 1 brown bag, a bag full of like cups, and probably mostly like these red kind of like cups that you get put sake in it, but whatever. And of course, where, well, Issei kind of also has a candles and umbrella and kind of also a lighter in it, but not the point. Which I can see from mostly her kind of point of view, but not the point. She's wondering where Issei's going with all that. This is where, well, she doesn't even know what the brown bag is. But this is where, well, Issei kind of walks towards a graveyard. This is where, well, Issei is kind of getting towards a graveyard, and this is where, well, he decides to kind of notice that it's going to rain in Shiba City. Not the point, that's why he also has an umbrella. But this is where, well, he kind of sets up the umbrella on top of a graveyard, and this is where he then puts some candles on top of this like graveyard, which Aika didn't go into the graveyard just yet. She's actually waiting until maybe Issei gets out for whatever reason, until she realized that mostly Issei is sitting down. Or mostly she can sense that Issei is standing in one place, and he looks to be setting up things. This is where, well, she decides to kind of go into the graveyard and just kind of look around. This is where she's hiding behind some grave tombstones, but this is where, well, she sees what Issei is doing. He set up some candles. This is where he set up, what's it called, these 2 cups down, one in front of him and one onto the graveyard. And this is where he opens the bag, which is literally a bottle of sake. This is where he puts it onto one of the cups and then pours into the other cup that's right in front of him. And this is where, well, Issei puts both of his hands together and starts kind of just praying. This is where, well, mostly Aika can barely hear what Issei is saying, but this is where, well, she would try to get closer, but this is where, well, he also put 2 other cups together, mostly that's right beside him. And this is where, well, mostly Issei does kind of like put down his hood and jacket and even his glasses, or mostly take off his coat. And behind him is a kind of greenish, emeraldish, kind of jadish green dragon symbol. This is where, well, mostly Aika is confused, and this is where, well, she also noticed that Issei pulls out like a necklace from his like mostly coat that he just took off and other things and put beside him. But the other 2 red cups were also full, mostly with sake. And this is where Issei was just praying. This is where, well, he puts the necklace on. And this is where, well, he actually had 2 necklaces. Well, he didn't have the drill necklace. Well, he did, but he kind of had it in the middle, while the other 2 necklaces, one was a dragon, like a black dragon with a red ruby gem. The other one was basically this dragon right here. This one right here, this necklace. Basically, it had like a green gem that was kind of an emerald, and the other kind of color was probably a jade kind of color dragon. But yeah, it was a jade, mostly material, but not silver. This is where, well, Issei was basically just praying other things, and this is where, well, mostly when Aika wanted to get close, this is where she heard noise like a motorcycle rumbling, and this is where, well, from both sides of the graveyard, because the graveyard has kind of multiple sides or multiple gates for you to enter, and this is where, well, she wants to kind of like hide further into the graveyard because she doesn't want to get caught, until she see a group of mostly gangsters actually appear, mostly bike gangsters. This is where, well, one person had kind of reddish coat and basically had this yin yang kind of symbol on the back. This is where, well, he had dark kind of tan skin, purplish kind of eyes. This is where, well, he did seem to have like bandages on his like face, mostly covering up his eye, one of his eyes, and he had longish white hair. This is where, well, kind of like, yeah, longish white hair, and this is where, well, he sat down beside Issei, and this is where, well, the other person that mostly I could kind of notice was a person with kind of like darkish, mostly just seems to be having black hair. And this is where, well, he had dullish, like dead, dark blue eyes. And of course, he seemed to be muscular. And he also had like a black kind of coat that had a symbol of mostly kind of peace. It was none other than Toma. This is where, well, the other one's Tenjo. And this is where, well, he sat down next to Issei, and this is where he started praying. All three of them decided to start praying. There was also another graveyard next to this one, but of course it was kind of smaller. This is where, well, they all started kind of praying, but yeah. Aika didn't know who exactly these two are, but this is where she noticed the other kind of members. It seems that they're biker gang members, but they're all outside of mostly the graveyard. While three of them are right now praying, she also noticed other kind of biker gang members, but these times there just seems to be leaders from different kind of gangs. This is where, well, they're all kind of just sitting outside the graveyard. This is where, well, they all started kind of setting up something for mostly around the graveyard, like a kind of lockout premises, just for no one to kind of go in. And this is where, well, I get so confused on what is happening, but all she kind of can understand is Issei is right in front of a graveyard that's quite important to him. Even the other two are right now, who is older, quite older than Issei. Probably the guy with blondish hair, probably, or not blondish hair, kind of blackish hair is probably around his 19s. The other probably is a little bit older and probably around his like 20s. This is where, well, Sona is just not Sona, mostly Aika keeps watching this. She would pull out her camera just to record this, which she does, just so nothing happens. But this is where she started realizing that it starts kind of getting interrupted with something like an EMP. And this is where, well, she's confused until mostly she realized that some of the biker gang members are kind of interrupting any like any noise, anything that's machinery, or any noise that mostly they give out like slight silent treatment around this graveyard. Which mostly Aika is so confusing. Why? This is where, well, she keeps watching this until mostly Issei, right now, kind of, all three of them decide to stop what they're doing, mostly stop praying. And this is where, well, they grab the kind of like cup. Mostly Issei grabs his cup. The other guy next to him, the kind of darkish haired person, grabs his cup. And even the white haired dude kind of grabs his cup. This is where they kind of cheers it, kind of like toast it up. Right now, all together kind of toasting each other. But of course, then they toast the drink that's kind of in front of them, the grave. And this is where, well, mostly all of them says, this is where, well, all of them says happy birthday. This is where, well, they all say happy birthday, older brother. This is where, well, they say the name being, what's it called? This is where, well, they say his older brother, Shinichiro Sano. This is where all of them said. This is where, well, they all mostly douse the drink all together. Mostly all the way, mostly like they drink in one gulp. And this is where, well, they all put down the cup at the same time. And this is where, well, they say happy brother, Shinichiro Sano, and Enma, little sister. Mostly Issei kind of says older sister. And this is where, well, they all kind of just smile at the same time, kind of looking a little bit drunk because, well, one of them can't actually take the alcohol too much. And this is where, well, the other one kind of has a little bit of waste of drinking also because, well, none of them can actually take the tolerance of drinking either because even though they're all older, yeah, this is kind of bad. This is where, well, they kind of said, okay, this was a bad idea, don't you think? This is where, well, mostly one of them says, Issei, I think you should have just grabbed something that isn't too hard for us to drink. This is where, well, Issei kind of stretch out and say, sorry about that, Mikey and, what's it called? This is where, well, sorry about that, Mikey and Izana. This is where, well, Izana says, huh, you guys can take it. This is where, well, he actually almost fall down, kind of like passing out from the the powerful kind of like alcohol because, well, none of them do drink at all. And this is where, well, we'll see Mikey says, you can barely even stand up. This is where, well, Mikey kind of just scoffs at Zana, and Zana says, screw you, you can barely stand up neither. This is where he hiccups a little bit. This is where, well, he says kind of start chopping because he also feels like passing out. This is where, well, none of them can actually kind of like hold their kind of drinking because, well, none of them do drink, so yeah. This is where, well, we'll see. Issei says, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I should have not got sake. This is where, well, we'll see. They switch up and says, what did you get exactly? This is where Issei says, I thought of getting like sake that's a little bit older than normal. Mostly that's what Rayleigh had. I should have never trusted him. This is where, well, Issei kind of passed out. This is where Zana, even Mikey, gets just kind of just switch off a smile at mostly Issei. Because even though he's the youngest, he is actually kind of always trusting a little bit people. Mostly he does trust Rayleigh, who is actually the store owner kind of like name that he went towards. But yeah, this is where, well, he's on, and Mikey says, whatever. This is where they get up. They also kind of pick up Issei, and even whatever the black coat that Issei had, and kind of mostly Mikey is holding it while Zana is kind of holding on to Issei. This is where, well, they blow out the candles, and this is where, well, they decide to tell their kind of like members that it's all over and it's time to go. This is where, well, mostly everyone nodded and started kind of like discontinuing and, well, mostly getting rid of some machinery that they had for like EMP just to disrupt any electronics or anything, just so no noise can actually be made or anything. And others started kind of just doing whatever, kind of already getting onto their motorcycles and kind of starting to drive off. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly Izana and even Mikey are just still there, while Issei is kind of waking up and saying, should have been a bad idea to drink, or picking any drink similar to what Riley said, because he says that I was older enough to drink it. Bad idea. This is where, well, mostly Zana and even Mikey switch up and says, yeah, you should probably not listen to that old fart most of the time. This is where mostly Mikey and Zana said, Issei nodded and says, yeah, I should probably not. This is where, well, mostly Mikey says, what happened to your arms? This is where Issei says, sorry, I got into a fight with mostly Toronto. He was kind of pissing off, or mostly he was pissing me off, and he was basically annoying me, so I kind of used Dark Impulse to kind of fight him. This is where, well, Mikey switch up and says, how many times have I told you not to use that? This is where he says, I mean, how many times have you used it? This is where Mikey says, beside the point. This is where Izana started chuckling. This is where, well, Izana says, well, I should probably be going. I have things to be doing. This is where, well, Mikey says, what happened to your eye anyway? Izana says, oh, well, look at the time. Time for me to go. This is where he drives off. And this is where Mikey says, hey, get back here. I gotta worry because mostly Emma had to be the one worrying about you guys. This is where, well, mostly, he says sweat drops and just kind of chuckles. But yeah, this is where he says, well, I have to be going also. I might stay around here in mostly Shiba City for a while, so I might just go with you, Mikey, if that's not too much to ask. This is where Mikey chuckles and says, no, it's not too much to ask, kid. Come on. This is where, well, mostly Mikey kind of grabs Issei from the arm and decides to pull him up and says, let's go. This is where, well, Issei says, sweet. But we go into mostly Issei getting onto Mikey's motorcycle and they just drive off. This is where, well, she just watched all that. All that interaction, how Issei smiles in happiness, and of course his smile was not fake. It was actually a genuine kind of smile, a very happy, shineful kind of smile. And of course, well, mostly the guy with dark skin calls him Issei, or mostly Ice, mostly Little Ice, while mostly Mikey calls him Little Ice also. And of course, how Issei just calls them big brothers. This is where, well, mostly Ike is confused, but this is where she saw all that. Luckily, she used a bit of her magic to try to record all this, but it was still kind of getting disrupted by the EMP. She doesn't even know how, but that shit was happening still. So it was kind of glitchy, but she still has it in her memories, but not the point. She used a bit of magic to probably use the memories to record, but yeah. She didn't hear what exactly they said, but she just saw this. Of course, it was quite sad because whoever the person they called out was mostly Shinjiro Sano, who basically they call him older brother, and mostly little sister or mostly older sister that Issei kind of calls out. Enma Sano, but yeah. This is why, well, mostly Aika didn't know what was happening, but she will get to the bottom of this by following Issei and Mikey and not trying to get caught. But other than that, I will end it off here for part 3 of this what if. Yeah, I'll be ending it off because I gotta go do something, but other than that, bye, see you, and yeah, see ya.